All right, so we are going to now look at the Democratic Revolution. So this is going to be Jackson. We're gonna finally we're gonna meet Jackson now. So okay, let's look at the rise and fall of some parties. So rise of democracy, voting rights. We're gonna start expanding those. Okay. And we're going to add any white male wage earner. So as long as you're making money and you're white, you can go vote. Okay. Nothing about literacy there. Just you're making money and you're white. We're going to shift from just the wealthy dominating everything, okay? And we're going to include these guys. So we're going to get a variety, not just the wealthy taking over local and state governments, okay? North Carolina, Virginia, and Rhode Island are going to maintain land ownership for voting, though, okay? So keep that in mind. Good old Rhode Island coming in there. Parties are going to start really taking command of things. They're going to really be established. They're going to be a base. They're going to be state. They're going to be federal. They're going to be kind of significant in elections now. Before it was just, yeah, I'm running and that's the party I'm associated with. Now the party is going to start gathering information and getting you on board with their platforms. Okay. They're going to get their agendas into legislature. Okay. And a lot of what happens with presidents that are going to get elected from here on out, there's going to be kind of this system of privilege. So if you help me get elected to office, I in turn will give you a position somewhere in the government. So, all right. Federalist Party is going to disappear. Okay, they're gone, done, it's over. All right, and the Jeffersonian, the Democratic Republicans, they're now just the Jeffersonian Democrats. Okay, so they're the Democrats coming in. All right, and so Andrew Jackson, let's meet him. Okay, he is not going to receive an absolute majority when he first runs for anything. Okay, he's going to serve in the House of Representatives. Okay. He's even going to actually get a position in the Senate, but he's not going to like it. Okay, so he's not going to stay there for very long. So he's sort of a weird guy. And then when he runs for president the first time in 1824, no clear majority is done. There's a little back house deal going on, okay, because the House of Representatives are going to vote on this. And basically what it's going to be is Henry Clay is going to form a coalition, all right, for John Quincy Adams. And in return, Henry Clay is going to get Secretary of State, which was kind of a big deal because Secretary of States usually ended up being the next president if they ran. So could have been a good one. Except this guy named Calhoun, John C. Calhoun, you're going to love him. He is going to accuse Adams of spoilage and patronage. They're going to label this the corrupt bargain. Okay, so the 1824 election is going to be labeled a corrupt bargain, which is going to give John Quincy Adams presidency, and he fulfills the Adams legacy by only having a single term. So no clear majority. I don't know. That's pretty majority to me, but all right. So he's going to continue on the American system. So John Quincy Adams is going to come in. He's going to take Henry Clay's American system where we federally subsidize transportation and we push the national bank. He's going to continue that. Jackson hates the American system. He thinks that is too much federal power over things and he doesn't want it. Okay, so this is going to be something for him to run against when he comes back in 1828. He's also... Quincy Adams is going to be looked at as like the business elite of the Northeast. Okay, so that's also going to be something that's not very popular with Jackson and his population. Okay, and then we're going to get the tariff of 1824, which is going to protect manufacturers in New England, but actually going to hurt the South, which is again something Jackson is going to come and attack on. John Quincy Adams also is going to try to recognize Indians' rights to their land, which... Yep, if you know anything about Jackson, not going to like that either. So really, John Quincy Adams set up his demise in 1828 because Jackson is going to run again for president. Okay, he's going to organize this huge campaign. He's going to target the people, okay, not the party. So he's going to be like, yeah, I'm running as a Democrat, but I'm here for you, the people. And this is going to speak to everybody. Okay, so all of these white men are going to go out and be like, hey, I'm voting for Jackson. Okay. His message is for equal rights. His message is for popular rule. He does not hide that he hates the American system, that he thinks tariffs are wrong, and that Native Americans need to get off our land. So he's going to win. Also, something to note, he is the first Western president, okay? Because remember, he's from out in Tennessee. He's not from Virginia. He's not from New England. He's not from New York, okay? He's from Tennessee. He's going to form something called a kitchen cabinet. Every president has a cabinet. He's going to have one, but then he's going to have his kitchen cabinet, which is actually filled with the people he listens to. So his executive branch cabinet are just there, thanks for being part of the government, but his kitchen cabinet is going to be who he listens to, and this is going to contain an editor of a newspaper, a speechwriter, the attorney general, and Van Buren. A lot of people are going to question this. He's also totally going to live by the patronage system, okay? All about the spoils. So if you helped me, I help you. That's how this goes, okay? So then we're going to get something called the Tariff of 1828. Guys, this is really important. You have got to know it, all right? The idea is this. We are going to tax, all right, raw materials, which really means that we're going to hit the South hard with this. Okay, so we're going to tax exports, of raw goods, which is really called the South. Okay, so the South is going to feel this. All right, John C. Calhoun of South Carolina is going to be like, hey, this is some stuff. What's up? He's going to go back down. He's the vice president. Okay, he's going to head down to South Carolina. He's going to be like, hey, we should come together as a state legislature and we should nullify this law. So remember that a long time ago, we read how Jefferson, okay, wrote about how in the Virginia rights, he said, if a state legislature can unanimously decide that a federal law is unconstitutional, they should be able to nullify it. Calhoun is going to push this. South Carolina is going to buy this, and they are going to then pass a law that says we are going to nullify this tariff. We're not going to pay it. Jackson is not going to be very impressed with this. Okay. South Carolina is going to try to avoid this law. Jackson is going to say, you know what? You don't have that power. I have the army. You have nothing. So you're going to pay the tariff and we're going to move on. My negotiation is I'll try to change the tariff, all right, with Congress, but you don't get to void a law, all right, and decide which federal laws you carry out. That's not how this works. Okay. This is a huge deal. Because South Carolina, right? Who's going to be the first to secede after Lincoln's election, right? This idea of pulling away from the Union is not a new idea. The ability to nullify laws is not some new thought. Jefferson came up with it long ago, okay? So this is really big. You guys need to remember this. Then we're also going to have Jackson's war on the bank, okay? It's going to come up again for its charter, and he's going to say, nope, not going to sign it. All right, so not signing it means that now there's no treasury, okay, which means that now state banks are the ones that are overseeing all of the money, okay, and this is going to be kind of a complicated system. And basically what it's going to lead to is after Jackson leaves office and Van Buren wins, we're going to have an economic crisis. Okay, because these little state banks are going to kind of do what they want, when they want, where they want, how they want, and nobody's overseeing them. Okay? All right. Then we have Indian removal. So remember the Cherokee case study that we did. Okay, so we're going to have this whole process where Jefferson had offered the Cherokee an opportunity to move. Some took it, some didn't. A lot still stayed in Georgia. Georgia's going to continue to pass laws against the Indian Cherokee Nation. The Supreme Court's going to be like, yeah, man, those laws, bummer. They really shouldn't be passed against you, and they don't have any power over you, but we don't have any say in your case that you brought before us because you don't have jurisdiction to be in front of us. Okay, so again, same argument, right, from Marbury v. Madison. Yeah, the state of Georgia is messing things up and shouldn't be doing what they're doing, but we don't have the power to say stop because you shouldn't even be in front of us with this case. So in turn, Jackson's not going to enforce anything. He's going to let Georgia do what they want, and then eventually we're going to get the Indian Removal Act of 1830. okay, where we're going to forcefully move the Cherokee, all right, into Oklahoma and Kansas. This is going to be fulfilled underneath President Van Buren, but the legacy will always live with Jackson. All right, so this is, you can see, right, here's Georgia, here's all the people, all right, and we're going to move them all into this area. Okay, so this is going to become the Indian lands for now until we begin moving out that direction as well. Okay, so the Taney Court. He's going to do a bunch of things, okay? He's going to encourage competitive enterprise. He's going to restore states' powers, all right? He's going to extend the voting to all white men, whether you have a job or not, it doesn't matter, okay? You can vote now. And he's going to mandate elections for all public officials, so justice of the peace, judges, sheriffs. This is why every election we have to vote on judges, even though they don't really campaign, especially in Colorado. And, you know, you have to research who they are anyway. So, but it was established here that we get to vote for them. All right. So Calhoun is going to argue about how the South and the North are, they have a shared common enemy, and that's slaves and propertyless whites. Calhoun is going to really be a prominent figure until he passes, actually, about the division of North and South, slave versus non-slave. He's going to be the guy that's going to come up with the idea that slaves is actually a good. It's not a necessary evil like Jefferson's been saying. It's actually a good thing what they're doing for the Black population in the South. So something to keep in mind as we keep moving closer towards the Civil War. Okay. All right, we're going to have labor politics. We're going to have unions forming. Remember what I said, there's going to be this panic of 1837 because the banks are closed. So it's like, uh-oh, what do we do? So foreign banks are going to limit their flow of money and credit to the U.S. because they're like, well, who are we sending it to? You know, the Bank of Charleston, the Bank of Pennsylvania, like who's getting, who's getting the money? We don't know. So they're just going to kind of back off to it. Americans have to start using a specie, so gold or silver, all right, because there's no paper anymore, really, all right, and we're going to have a depression, okay, which means that we're going to lose a lot of our bargaining power on the world stage and domestically. All right, so then the public's going to hate Van Buren, so Jackson set him up to be the next one in power. Everybody hates him because there's a depression. Never mind the fact that Jackson's the one that killed the bank, but whatever. So we're going to William Henry Harrison. Okay. In the War of 1812, he had a victory of Tippecanoe. Okay. He was put on the ballot to represent the Whigs. He's going to run with Tyler. He's going to win. So he's all about the Whig agenda, which is basically let's bring back the bank in the American system. Let's do it. And so we're going to have a little problem because he's not going to last long, okay? So this is the guy you need to remember that he's older, so how does he prove his youthfulness? He gives a speech in horrible weather, freezing rain outside for 3 hours, proceeds to get a cold, and then die. Tyler will then become president, and he was never really a Whig. So the Whigs are like, uh-oh, that backfired. Because they were thinking we just have a rubber stamp for all of our stuff, except for Tyler's like, nah, I don't agree with that. So he's going to kind of do his own thing, okay? Something to kind of remember, right? All of these, federal power, relationship between federal government and the states, authority of different branches, and responsibility of individual citizens, all of this changes inside of Chapter 10 here. So keep note of that. All right, guys. So as usual, add these and build on your Unit 4 big ideas, okay? Get them in there, 5 key events, all right? 3 political figures. I definitely say Jackson and Calhoun should be up in there. Nullification definitely needs to be over in here. Get that updated in your notes. Until next time.